Hey everybody, this is me Sergio again. Hey, I just wanted to do another little coffee brewing thing on my Chemex today, and since I moved into my new apartment, I decided to wanted to get my favorite cup of coffee of all time. I mean, I had an incredible experience working at Seattle's, Cap Hills, Starbucks Reserve Roasterie, but there's one coffee that in my own honest opinion, would be the best coffee of all time. Mainly because of just its flavor profile is just center page of how every Latin American coffee and every coffee tasted like this. I think that there would be just a lot of really content people in the world. But I have this one right here, and some Vashon Islands, the old Vashon Islands Coffee Roastery. It's Stewart Brothers Coffee SBC. This is Seattle's best coffee. Originally founded by Jim Stewart. It's got a lot of history on there, and decided to pay for that $24 ferry ride to and from to go to the roastery over there. Just like a little patio kind of storefront. Also known as the Wet Whisker, for the little espresso shop that they have in there. It's actually the name of Jim Stewart's cat. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm really excited. I got this bag here, and I open her up. I'm gonna brew some coffee here. All right, just like before, we have our Chemex here. I've gone ahead and pre-wet the filter. It's on my little kitchen scale. I've measured the 45 grams of coffee. This is going to be the 1:17 ratio. And then what I want to do is start my timer here so that we can go ahead and, have an appropriate brew time. All right. Well, let's see, got the stopwatch here. All right, let's move over here on this side, and we're just gonna go ahead and start brewing it. 45 grams of coffee means that we want to double its weight and the water. So since I already have this preset to 90 degrees, or sorry, 200 degrees, it's the about like the standard of brewing coffee. It's usually about 200 to 202 is the solid spot, but anywhere between 95 or 195 and 205 is the appropriate brewing time for this coffee. One of the funny, I always I love it when it puffs up with because of all like the gases that are escaping. It's I couldn't believe when I had this coffee for the first time. They kind of have like a little porch outside of the roastery on Vashon Island that's kind of like that old country store. And when I first decided to go there, I was with a friend at the time that we were just kind of went on a spontaneous little adventure. Like, hey, let's go over there. And when I had the opportunity to see, like, oh wow, they actually roasted coffee here, and they have 3 different air pots that they had outside. This was one of them. They had a Brazil, they had a Sumatra, and then they had it's like the Celestial decaf, the best decaf in the world. As they claim. I tried them all. They had little sample cups of each one. And the first thing that got to me was this coffee here, and I was like, "Wow, this is really something special, especially coming from an air pot. I could brew an incredible cup of coffee, and all it takes is a brewing method." So, I went ahead and I bought 2 bags. Yes, I bought 2 bags. Thinking, this is something I want to work with. I want to have some different styles of brewing methods, from either just like a traditional Melita pour over to stovetop espresso or to my espresso machine. And the moment I actually made this coffee, I I realized that I was onto something special after the second sip. The first sip is always going to be something that's, it introduces you to, your initial feeling of the coffee profile. But as the second sip, I realized that the sensations that I got were just second to none. They were everything I've ever wanted, to have that feeling of home, or to have that feeling of comfort, to knowing that we have something incredible. I thought, if this is, something that I can replicate every single time, to have this incredible chocolatey notes, these incredible, like the cleanness of a coffee, everything about it was just straight up perfect in the sense that I had to stop what I was doing. So we're coming down to about 4 minutes. I'm gonna let this finish dripping, and we'll come back to our finished product here. Okay. So naturally, I always like to make sure to kind of see like the end result. So kind of note that the coffee bed is always perfect. That means there's gonna be little to no sediment around here, and just forms a nice little sitting at the bottom of that filter. We have about, so when I say the drop time, I mean the time that it finished brewing completely. It's about 5 minutes and 15 seconds. My usual standard that I do, this is all down to personal preference. It's kind of 5 minutes for a Chemex, but I like to maintain consistency of both the coffee that I'm brewing and my own personal quality of coffee that I brew. But I have the finished product here in the Chemex, and immediately I'm taking this little cafe 8-ounce cappuccino cup here. Basically, I'm just gonna kind of describe what I've already been kind of describing because I have them for the past couple of days. This is my jam. So initially, it has like you can already tell it's a light body coffee. You could already tell that there's some baker chocolate, kind of the smell of baker's chocolate, like that's evoked when you smell this coffee. Yep, and so this is gonna be something really, really clean. It kind of goes like you're not even drinking coffee because there's no sediment because of the Chemex filter, and there's no interference of like that on your taste buds. It has some mild acidity that kind of comes up a little bit later, but in the end, it's just like this chocolatey, warm, toasty feeling coffee. It almost has like that acidity is almost like of a lemon, but it's so back there. But it just kind of like progresses to make your mouth salivate a little bit because of how precious it is. This is warm. You can just drink it black. You don't need anything to it. It's in essence the perfect cup of coffee. Cheers. Okay, so I forgot to also mention that I'm going to be doing this a little bit more often. I have a buddy of mine that's going to be sending me a bunch of coffee. He just started his own coffee company. I did my other review, little coffee brewing method, about it in my last video. But this is going to be for, you can change the branding from Sleepy Mind to Peak Coffee. So I got a lot coming in from that. There's really exciting stuff. So we're talking about like roasted to order, and then we're talking about micro batch roasting so that he personally will do for each individual bag that he sells. So it's a little kind of cool thing to look forward to. But yeah, feel free to subscribe or hit the thumbs up button. I don't care, it's okay. I'm just doing this for fun. All right, have a good one.